Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out 2-sentence horror. Story 1. September 23. The warning plaque at the pet shop said that pythons stretch out to size up their prey. But I don't care if she's 7 feet, I raised her from an egg and she can sleep in bed even if she doesn't want to curl up next to me anymore. Story 2. In the abandoned laboratory, their yellow bodies twisted and contorted into grotesque shapes. Their innocent laughter turned into haunting whispers that echoed through the halls, a chilling reminder of the dark experiments that had taken place. The once beloved minions lay motionless. Story 3. Ever since the divorce and losing my kids, my greatest fear had been that I would die alone. As I pushed the yoke of my 737 sharply forward, I reassured myself that now, that wasn't going to happen. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 4. I go to Penn State University and made the mistake of looking at the subreddit for my school. Shaking, I realized that I had somehow been given moderator status and I wept silently onto my keyboard and mousepad, cursor already having banned 6 users involuntarily. Story 5. I dreamed that Santa was asking me to invite him in the house, but I said I'd have to ask my dad. And as my daughter rambled on, I focused on the news report about all the children that had recently disappeared. Story 6. In a scientific breakthrough, NASA announces the discovery that anything in outer space for 50 years manages to become alive. Reports are flooding in that there has been an emergency on board the International Space Station and all crew members are currently missing. Story 7. I met a new friend today, but my family doesn't like her for some reason. The first thing she said when we first met was, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help you." Story 8. There was just one thing that finally convinced me I should wear a seat belt. The windshield. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 9. From my wheelchair I could just make out the silhouettes of my niece and nephew kneeling by the radio as it chattered about light surges and downed power cords. I looked up at the stairwell, wondering how we could have left those poor wolves to howl and starve as they resorted to chewing the walls. Story 10. Nearing ecosystem collapse, we gave the AI permission to clean up every last particle of pollution it could. We never could have predicted it would start killing people and sieving the microplastics from our blood. Story 11. I'm aware this war severely drained my sanity. But I still know sun is not supposed to rise in the west. Story 12. It felt weird to me that more and more people came to my place to stay. I didn't complain though, as it would just mean more and more volunteers to participate in the ritual. Story 13. I'm coming for you boys, you better hide, our dad said in a low raspy voice. Isn't Dad still at WO work? My little brother asked, trembling as we both fixated on our slightly ajar room closet door. Story 14. Being quiet and well-behaved had its perks. Teachers would never pay much attention to me while I played in the corner. But as I heard the class door behind me lock for the school holidays, I suddenly wished I had tried to be more memorable. Story 15. It felt good to shed my heavy coat and overalls and kick off my boots after trudging several miles through snow-covered wilderness to get to the secluded cabin. I got there not a moment too soon, my entry heralded by constant rolling thunder echoing through the mountains above me, not realizing that there hadn't been a cloud in the sky all day. Story 16. When I heard the news about the escaped serial killer, I was horrified. Especially after seeing the horrible picture they used of me. Story 17. I was so excited when my parents said we were all going for a big sleepover with our friends. We even all got matching striped pajamas, but they are kind of uncomfortable. Story 18. The man I grew up with died at war with my arms around him, hopelessly clutching his bleeding body. Over 100 years later, as a young man taking the bus home from school, I remember everything about him but his name. Story 19. The adventurer, having successfully revived at the temple, could only sob as she clutched her stomach. Despite the safety of revival, there's a reason you shouldn't go adventuring while pregnant. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 20. Finished with her last patient, the memory care nurse reaches to punch her code into the door. An unfamiliar wrinkled hand struggles with the buttons, and the door does not open. Story 21. I was surprised to see someone climbing the old tower topped with the defunct nuclear warning siren. That surprise turned to chilling terror when I noticed they were frantically trying to repair the siren, looking nervously toward the sky. Story 22. It really hurt the first time, but I soon got over the pain and began enjoying it. It turned out there was really nothing wrong with prison, 3 free meals a day and all the sex I could handle. Story 23. I was hastily brought into the large building against my will, the blinding lights blurring my vision when I glanced toward a sheet of paper on an old blood-stained table. As my eyes skimmed across it, and I read research has found humans are made of 70% water, I realized where I was, and could only accept my fate. Story 24. DEC-23. I double-checked the chamber before stashing my gun and heading out. I'm sure playing with a loaded gun will teach my stupid brother to never touch my things again. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 25. While exploring Google Earth, he decided to investigate his childhood neighborhood and discovered his own house. Curiosity turned to horror when he zoomed in, recognizing his younger self peering directly into the camera, despite the fact that Google Earth didn't exist back then. Story 26. People who are reading this, watch out because I'm coming for you. Story 27. As a great shadow rose above the inky waters, I realized something. Our fishing boat is too small for barrels. Story 28. I closely watched the political debate about eating animals and should it be illegal. The conclusion was no. I was frozen in terror as the interstellar broadcast stopped. Story 29. I woke up to the sound of a camera's shutter. In the second flash, I saw myself standing at the edge of my bed holding the camera. Story 30. As I walk into my newborn daughter's nursery, I break down at the sight of my wife and daughter's lifeless bodies. I cry even harder when I remember what she said before I left for work. Please don't go into work today, I need you. Story 31. When I was getting ready for school this morning, I noticed something strange. I only had socks for my left foot, but none for my right. Story 32. My father always went an extra mile to make sure me and my twin sister are treated exactly the same so no one gets jealous. Today she got in an accident and lost her hand. Story 33. It was the middle of the night when I heard my mom's voice call me from downstairs. If I go down there now, she'll beat me to death, overdosed as she is. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 34. I knew my soul was saved when my mom said God speaks to the chosen ones who do what He asks of them. He talks to me by my window almost every night, and I always do what He asks me. Story 35. I saw my guardian mother with an upset look on her face. Me being a good son, I asked what's wrong. I was the one who murdered your parents, sweetie. She broke down in front of me as I stared in shock. If this is good. Story 36. DEC-23. Please come back before curfew. Upon hearing my mother's voice, I quickly doubled back to our house, only to see an empty lot emerge from the fog. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 37. My parents wouldn't let me go on the trip with them. They were supposed to come back 3 days ago, but they didn't. Story 38. DEC-23. The delivery nurse did a double take when she realized the baby wasn't just stillborn, it was exsanguinated, completely drained of blood. She gasped as something slithered out of the mother's birth canal and disappeared into the darker recesses of the room. Story 39. It turns out that if you get murdered, God gives you one chance to make better decisions in your last 24 hours, but getting sent back in time is a strange sensation. You didn't really think DJVU was meaningless, did you? Story 40. Leaving my sleeping son at home seemed like a great idea. I didn't want to wake him and the shop was only round the corner. If I hadn't been hit by that car, I'd have gotten back home to him. Story 41. Hearing footsteps outside her bedroom, Olivia quickly stopped her OnlyFans live stream and pretended to call her husband, yelling, "Tommy, grab the rifle." As she slowly opened the bedroom door, the man greeted her with a sinister smile, saying, "Oh, sweetheart, I've been watching you for quite a while, and I know you live all alone." Story 42. I thought I was being clever when I wished my body would function perfectly normally on just 2 hours of sleep. I soon learned this isn't long enough to fall into REM sleep, and now I can't tell what is real or a dream. Story 43. While still half asleep, she heard the front door open and shut, then her husband completely undressed and laid down next to her in bed. Just then she got a text, "Hey honey, just ran out to the store but might have forgotten to lock the door, can you check?" Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 44. "Man, I'm tired," I said as I laid in bed. Story 45. Do not use cotton swabs to clean your ear canals. I learned that hard way when I slipped. Story 46. After years of agonizing torture by scientists, I finally embraced sweet release of death. Then I woke up strapped to the same bloody operation table, my tormentors now cheering about being able to experiment forever. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 47. I take my husband's hand and kiss it gently. Maybe taking his hand from him will teach him not to hit women. Story 48. If you do not worship the god, you will be sent to hell for eternity. But it was a god long forgotten, dooming everyone to the same painful fate. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 49. We were ordered to wait for our release inside a foul-smelling building with thick metal walls and a low roof. As I was trying to read the graffiti on the stained wall, we heard the sound of a machine activating and the back wall began to slowly slide towards us. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.